Go Jesus, what's up? Hey Green man, what's up, bro? It's good seeing you. Like you've been quarantining. You got that quarantine glow, as they say. But it's good hearing from you, man. I'm glad to take this time to chat with you. I'm sure it's been a busy day for you. But we just got the message that this is your last day with us, man. And so 3 years went by so fast, man. Tell us about it. You know, when I started 3 years ago, I was coming off of quarantine for 40 days and 40 nights, and I was led into the temple. And while in the temple, I started my ministry by saying, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to preach good news to the poor, to give recovery of sight to the blind, to set the captives free, and to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord's favor. And so for the last 3 years, I've been proclaiming this acceptable year of the Lord's favor in the face of an empire of destruction. I mean, literally, we have a king who's been trying to make Rome great again. And he's been implementing policies and practices to do all he can to destroy the fabric of our humanity. He's been trying to separate families at the border. He's been trying to put the tax collectors in the temple to exploit the poor while cutting taxes for the wealthy, while criminalizing people who look like me to continue to expand the prison industrial complex in our nation. These are difficult times, but I found strength and hope in knowing that my calling and my assignment was to build the kingdom of God here on earth as it is in heaven. And so I believe that today, you know, my track record would suggest that I've done all I set out to do. I've done all I have vision to do, and I'm excited about the next phase of my ministry. I can only imagine, man, this had to be very difficult. So tell me about some of your most difficult moments. The ministry moments were some of the most difficult. And don't get me wrong, like I had some really dope experiences. Like there's one time where we were at the mountain and I was preaching and we were having a blast. I mean, like it was like IG Live church. I mean, it was ridiculous. And so I was there and the disciples hit me up in my DMs and was like, yo, what are we finna do about this lunch thing? And I'm like, what you mean what we finna do? Like, why don't we just order Uber Eats? And they're like, you about 2,000 years ahead of schedule. So I'm like, okay, man. So there was a young homie who had 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. And so he came to me and we were like, yo, we can saute some, we can broil some, we can fry some, we get some hot sauce and some mustard. And with this white bread, we're going to be able to eat. And so, man, when I tell you 5,000 people ate that day, like legit, like 5,000 people ate. Women, children, they took bags of food home. I mean, it was a dope experience. But on the other side, I had some tough ministry experiences. My friend Lazarus was sick one time, and his sisters hit me up and was like, yo, Jesus, Lazarus is sick. So I'm like, okay, cool. I put it on my Google Calendar, I'm gonna show up and visit them. By the time I get there, Lazarus had already died. Mary and Martha come running up at me like, yo, Jesus, if you would have been here, our brother wouldn't have died. That night I cried because I felt like when people needed me the most, I wasn't there. But it was only because they could not see that I had something greater for them that they could not see. And sometimes it frustrated me, and it sometimes made me feel some type of way because people couldn't see what I could see. All right, one last question. If you could, would you recommend this role to somebody else? Absolutely, I would recommend this role to somebody else. But 3 things. One is that this role has a purpose. This role comes with a purpose to bring life, love, and liberation to all who need it. I mean, literally, that this role comes with an opportunity to expand the limitations of how we view life and bringing joy and hope to people who need it the most. It's about love, which is radical and transformative and is able to see people whole. And it's about liberation. It's about making sure that justice and equity and peace are the order of the day. Whoever wants to do this role has to be committed to the purpose, recognize that they have a personnel to be able to expand the reach, and they don't have to do it alone. I mean, I've been spending these last 3 years building an army of people who are willing to go to bat for this gospel and to take it to the uttermost parts of the world. And so you don't have to do it by yourself, but there are people all across the world who are going to be able to take the torch and continue the fight. And then finally, I would recommend this role because it has the right power. I mean, literally, this role is connected to the CEO. I mean, the CEO is absolutely incredible. I mean, the CEO is one who shows up for all those who need him the most. And he's there when you feel as though you're down, when you feel as though you're weak. And I had a moment one time recently where I was in the Garden of Gethsemane before I came to this point in my ministry, and I felt like giving up and I felt like giving in. And I really wanted the cup to pass me, but the CEO told me that I would be able to find the strength to be able to take this role and be able to move to my next phase in my ministry. And so I'm comfortable with transitioning. I'm comfortable with what it takes to be able to go to my next phase, because I know that I got a CEO who's got the power. And so as I go to my orientation for the next phase of my career, I'm not leaving the company, I'm just going to a different role. And so I want to let you know today that whatever you've been facing, whatever you've been going through, God has prepared you for this moment. God told me to let you know, guess what? It's finished. Get ready for your next role. All right, Jesus, man, thank you for pulling up on us, man. I hope that anyone who's listening to this message will be inspired to follow the ministry of Jesus Christ. It's finished, but you can fulfill the role. God bless you. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.